Do you know your internet service provider sees everything you do online? Do you know you're exposed on every website you visit, and your visible IP address can be used to track you down to your very doorstep? Do you know when using a public network, a malicious user, aka a hacker, on the network, can read your personal data? How do you protect yourself? Protect yourself by using a VPN. But not just any VPN, for not all VPNs are created equal. Free VPNs give you fake privacy. Most others will share your private info with third parties whenever possible. What VPN should you use? Use NordVPN. NordVPN secures your privacy and keeps you protected from the eyes online. What makes NordVPN different? NordVPN encrypts your data. In other words, turns them into gibberish, which means no one can read it, not even your internet service provider. NordVPN does not store data on its servers. In other words, there are no data to share to third parties. Which means your privacy is ever guaranteed. NordVPN has automatic kill switch. In other words, if your connection accidentally drops, NordVPN blocks your device's access to the internet. Which means you're protected at all times, even when disconnected. NordVPN is easy to use, with one click to connect, or enable auto-connect to automatically connect whenever a network is detected. NordVPN has over 5,000 servers in 60 countries, and is available on Android, Windows, OS, macOS, Linux, and Android TV. Are you a movie lover? Is a movie or streaming platform blocked in your country? Change your location on NordVPN, and gain instant access to your favorite movies. Are you a gamer? Is a game not available in your country? Change your location on NordVPN, and instantly gain access to your favorite games. How do you get NordVPN? Click the link in the video's description to get NordVPN. Use the promo code MFAZ to enjoy a 2-year plan with over 60% discount and 1 month free bonus. What are you waiting for? Click the link to get NordVPN today. Remember, use the promo code MFAZ to start enjoying your discount and 1 month free bonus. Stay protected online. Start using NordVPN.
February 14th, Valentine's Day, Lover's Day, everyone knows. A day of love, gifts and kisses, everyone knows. A time of romance and affection, between lovers and loved ones, everyone knows. But long time ago, it was a time of torture and brutal animal slaughter, no one knows. It was a time of physical abuse, rape, and forced marriages, no one knows. It was a time of Christian persecution and martyrdom, no one knows. So, how did we get here? Once upon a time, in ancient Rome, a pagan feast was celebrated from the 13th to 15th of February. This was the feast of Lupercalia, the feast of love and fertility, but nothing about it showed love and affection. At the beginning of this festival, the single unmarried men of Rome would gather, naked. Each one would slaughter and sacrifice a goat and a dog, skin the dead animals, and cure their hides into whips. The unmarried women and young ladies of Rome would be lined up and stripped naked for the men to whip them till they tire. It was believed this would increase the fertility of these women. The names of these women would then be written in pieces of parchment paper, wood, or stone, and put in a lottery box. Whichever woman the men drew out of the lottery box was theirs to have carnal knowledge of throughout the festival. If one or both end up falling in love, they would get married. If neither of them falls for the other, they would appear in the next festival and matchmaking, and the next, until a match is made. To some, this broken drunken festival was a delight, a time to look forward to, when they get to find their match and choose their mate. While to others, it was a date to abhor, a time of shame, disgrace, and forced relationships. At the dawn and spread of Christianity, Pope Gelasius I deemed this feast inappropriate and unchristian, and the naked abusive aspect of this feast gradually ceased. They could still choose their mates on that day, but no more would there be public nakedness, beatings, and forced couplings. As the years went by, Shakespeare and other famed authors popularized it as a day of romance, goodwill, and affection, a day for lovers and loved ones. Its dark history, lost. Its cruel acts, forgotten. And its inflicted wounds, long faded. Once upon a time, in old Rome, when the pagans of Rome persecuted their Christian brethren, there was a man, a priest named Saint Valentine. Saint Valentine devoted his life to ministering to persecuted Christians and spreading the gospel. He was a thorn in the flesh of the pagan Emperor Claudius II, but as no crime could be held against him, there was no condemning this man, until much later. One day, the emperor declared that single men made the best soldiers, and married men made terrible soldiers. The Romans were renowned for their power and battle prowess. Intending to keep it that way, the emperor banned marriage thenceforth. No more would the young men of Rome marry, their loyalty would be to their country alone. Saint Valentine deemed this law cruel and unfair, and would neither heed nor adhere. He continued to bless and conduct marriages. Lovers would secretly go to him and be united in holy matrimony. Saint Valentine had broken the law. According to Emperor Claudius II, he had contributed in weakening the Roman military system, ripping the state of her best soldiers and talents. The priest was arrested and sentenced to death on 14th of February 269. But even while in prison, he continued to minister to persecuted Christians. Alas! While counting down to the day of his sentence, Saint Valentine fell in love with the jailer's daughter, who had no sight, for she was born blind. The day before his death, Saint Valentine restored the sight of his love. The jailer's blind daughter could finally see. And on the day of his death, he sent her a love letter, a farewell message, signed, "From your Valentine." Saint Valentine was executed on February 14, 269, and many years later, his martyrdom would be acknowledged and commemorated by Pope Gelasius I and the Catholic Christians of the world. Few years after the martyrdom of Saint Valentine of Rome, in the year 273, a bishop of Terni, in central Italy, known as Bishop Valentine of Terni, was martyred on the same February 14th. And more years later, another priest named Valentine was martyred in Africa, also on February 14th. Thus, in 496, Pope Gelasius I set the date February 14th as not only the day of the feast of Lupercalia, not only the day for lovers and loved ones, but also a day in commemoration of the martyred Saint Valentines of the world.